Thanks for stopping by. This is Dan Bell of Bell Certified. Today I'm going to teach you how to program some questions in a recorder. Denise made a couple extra questions this week in the senior capstone training. I'm going to go ahead and steal some of his work to teach you how to do a multiple choice first. We'll do this. So I'm going to copy this question here. You can get the question from wherever. Copy that first. I'm going to come over here. Okay, so this is the this course doesn't have anything in it yet. It's the spec map chart, which I haven't taught to since leaving CPA, so I haven't created the content. Sham taught this class this semester, so you have the content from Sham. But I'm going to add a quiz here, and that's over on the right, you'll notice. And this now, one of the reasons we're doing this is because we've been asked to create a shell here for you guys to do a practice exam for your Patentability 1 course that Sham's been teaching. So we'll call this practice exam. And then down here, you have to be careful when you're programming the exam because the students can see it if they're enrolled in the course. You have to make sure to go down here and click No Show or Hide. First thing you do is hide it. And then come up here and say the date you want it to open on. So this is the date the quiz opens. Now the quiz closes. When the quiz closes, they can see the answers. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this close date, say in 5 days. Maybe we'll make this close on the 15th, say. So it'll close on February 15th. It's open now. It'll close on February 15th at 6:10 a.m. I normally have them close for the juniors at 10:40 because that's by then they're in class and they can't read the answers, and so when they go back to their desk they can see what the answers are. Okay, let's look at some of these fields here. I haven't been putting time limits on questions. That's what this is. Oh, by the way, in Moodle, these little question marks, if you want to see what your options are to put in a field, click this and you can read all about it. So it's a well-documented interface. We're going to do single attempt questions. This is telling you how many questions you can see at once on the page. I want to be able to see them all on there. You can do one at a time if you want. You can shuffle the questions so that each student sees them in a different order if you want. It's a useful thing to do possibly, depending on what your purposes are for the test. And you can also shuffle answers within questions so that if a student is told to mark A for 20, A moves, say on a multiple choice. We're going to go with a single option. They answer the question once and they have to wait till class starts to find out what the real answer is and whether they got it right or wrong. There's other reasons you might want to have multiple choices, like they could choose it and get it wrong, come back later in 5 minutes and try again, which doesn't seem to make sense for our purposes, but that's an option. So they get one attempt. We're going to non-adaptive mode. We could talk about that more later. That's actually kind of a complicated field there. Highest grade doesn't make sense. They're just going to get the 1 grade based on what answer they gave. We're not applying penalties, and we're giving 2 decimal digits. So as you can see, there's quite a few options. Now, the reason I'm unchecking these is that I don't want the student to be able to see what the answer is until after class starts, and they've submitted. And once every student has submitted their answers, and class starts, and then they go back to their desk, they can see where at least I thought there was support for a question. So this is still hidden. We can see. There's various security features that we're not going to use. We're all behind a firewall, so we're okay there. And you could put comments in here about, oh, great job, if they get 100%, or oh, 90%. You can set boundaries, and 90% here is really good, or that kind of thing. So that's kind of fun to play with. So we're done. All this did is create a shell to put a test into, and so that's what we have here now. This practice. Now, no, it's light. Notice it's not the dark blue like this. It's light. That's telling you that it's not viewable by students yet. I thought we gave a name to this, but we didn't. See this little hand here with editing on it? That's going to give me a field I can type in when I click on it. and I'm going to call this practice exam for this. Now you can put multiple exams in here. This would just be your first one. Like you could have one for the theoretical, um, one for the objective, one for filling in fields, all sorts of different question types, which I'll show you in a minute. I've just called it practice exam, but you could call it practice exam questions 1 through 10, questions, many ways you could break it. I mean, you would just do another quiz right below it and put the questions in there. And there's all these other things you can use, databases, assignments, and we'll explore those as time goes on. But today we're just looking how to simply put a few questions into an exam. So now this exam's created, so I'm going to go ahead now and click on it. Now, this you always have to set to the name you gave it. Here we call it practice exam. And this is going to create a question bank, which you can do some interesting things with. Later we may do in some of our classes, in fact. Like, for example, you could have 50 questions, and each student is only going to get 20 of them randomly. And that way, no student's getting the same exam. There's a lot of clever things you can do. But we're going to start out just making a true-false question. And so here we're going to call this normally the smart thing to do is to name the questions something that makes sense to you. I'm just going to paste. Oh, this is not going to be helpful because this is I selected true false, as you may remember, and I just pasted a multiple choice question in here. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to go down to the bottom here and cancel this, because since I have a multiple choice question on my cursor, I'm going to go down here and pick multiple choice. And later I'll go back and get a true false. So it's going to give me a number of fields here, and I'm going to take, I'll paste it all in here and then work with it. So this will be the question. This is Denisha's question. The purpose of filing a 131 deck is choose the correct option. So the way a multiple choice, we'll call this rule 31. Rule 131 question. That way, in a list, we'll know it. And we'll call it multiple choice. Multiple choice. Although you'll see in a minute that doesn't matter. We don't have to call it multiple choice. We'll be able to tell by the way it looks in the list whether it's a multiple choice or not. Okay, so now this is the first answer. This is the A answer, if you will. So I need to bring it. Down here somehow. Copy it, and I'm going to put it down here in choice 1. Notice that the way it'll appear is how I could have it be capital A for each of the answers, or 1, 2, 3, or no numbering. But I'm gonna pick the A, B, C here, or actually it was already picked. And if I click shuffle here, it would shuffle if I had allowed it earlier. But remember I clicked no under shuffling within. And we're only going to have one answer is correct here, and we're going to assume whatever answer Denise says is true. I haven't even read the question yet, but let's see. Add new limitation to the claims. Post allowance, he probably means. So that'll be the A choice. Now it'll put the letter A in front of it, so you notice I didn't copy the A. I'm just gonna. I'll probably capitalize that add too, just so it looks more official. So the second choice will be B. So I'm going to just paste each of these, capitalize that A like I said on the first choice. Let's go get C. A, B, C. Demonstrate. There's the C one. So this is fairly straightforward, as you can see. You just paste each of your choices in here, and it'll form the question as you're used to seeing it. There's one other thing. That was D, I think. A, B, C. because that was C. So now we need D. A, B, C, D. Here's D. And the fifth choice. There's always a fifth choice. Oop, does he have two D's in there? Oh, he probably meant this to be an E, no doubt. And the answer he's picking is D. You'll notice his answer is D. So this will be 5. This will be the fifth choice. And we're going to give 100%. Now notice this is where you tell that this is how you score it right here. I'm going to give 100% for D because Denisha has told us that that's the correct answer. And then this here says general feedback. I'm just going to paste Denisha's whole question here again down into that general feedback spot. And then give him credit here. By Denish. And hopefully he's got this right. If not, he'll hear about it, as we all know, in disputes, which is a good thing. We want to always have that dispute ability. So that's it. The question has a name. It has a call question. Notice I've taken everything out of here except the call. And so we have the 5 choices. It's going to show up in the ABC format, which you'll see in a minute. And none of these get credit except for the last one. See how they all say none right here for grade? Yeah, but we're going to give 100% on that last one. And you could, if you wanted more choices, more than the 5, you could click here and get more blank choices. And then you could, you can give great job, for correct response. When I first started doing these, I was typing in here, but it got time consuming. As you'll notice, I don't do it as much anymore. So that's it. That's how to create a true-false question. You'll notice it'll take us to a list. Now it'll be the first and only one on the list. If this thing will, the recorder is, there's some artifacts here. I was hoping refresh would clear it up. As you can see, there it goes. It's refreshing. Okay, while it's okay, now see this little thing here? I can brag. That's a magnifying glass. It lets me look at how you're going to see the question as a student. It'll let me verify that I've entered it all correctly. AB. Now notice it put the A's in there for you. I didn't do this. And so purpose of following a 131 deck is such and such, and then here's the answers. And I'm going to just check and make sure. See this fill with correct? I'm going to hit that and make sure it's grading it how I meant to. Yeah, it's going to give credit to E here. So let's get rid of this. Let's quickly go grab the true-false question here. I think I put those first 2 in the not sure what this is here. It looks like there's 2 answers here. Let's refresh this. And got to get this done fairly quickly. YouTube lets me upload in 15-minute segments, and I'm down to 13 minutes. I'm up to 13:55 now, so I have a minute left to load a true-false question in here and then go live with this test so you can see how it works. Okay, so I'm going to just grab one of these. It doesn't, well, let's see if that one of those ones down here I haven't used yet. Here we go. Oops. Let's grab this question here. This is going to be a true-false question, as you can see. Let's go look at how to do a true-false. Fairly straightforward. Just boom, pull that down, hit true-false. I'm going to call this, oh, I can't remember what the question was. I'll have to paste it in here to remember. Reduction to practice. Whoops. Issue of law? Question mark. The issue of reduction to practice is a question of law. So we're going to pull this out of here and move this down below under Now I need to see the whites of its eyes before I can paste it in there. There we go. Okay, we'll give Danish credit for this question. By Danish. And we're going to mark this true. And we'll save this. And so we'll have 2 questions on our quiz for this example. And here's the... So now the way you get these, all you did is create a question bank on this side. Now we're going to create a quiz. That's simple. You just click on this little arrows here. That moved the first question over. And this, click on the next one. That moved the second one over. Or should have. Maybe it didn't get my click. There's the second one. And this will tell you how many points for the whole they can get for this question bank. So I'm going to save our changes. And then we'll go over here as the teacher and we'll preview this exam, see how it looks. It's a 2-question exam. This is how the student will see it. They'll click it, and then when they submit their answer, then they won't be able to see it. It'll just show that they finished the quiz, and then after the time period ends that we set, it'll show what Danish put down for the answers. That's it. That's how you create a true-false or a multiple choice question. And so just to show you how this looks to a student, I'll come in here. I'm going to turn the editing off. You'll come in here. This is the spec chart quiz. I'm already over on time, so hopefully this will work. This is the student's view. A summary of your previous attempts. Continue the last preview. This is what the student will see. And they answer it and hit submit and they're done. Thanks for stopping by. Dan Bell, Bell Certified.